The Morgan Silver Dollar, the vintage Wild West Morgan Dollar, right? Love the series. And one of the more fabled is the Carson Cities. Right behind that is the only Southern Mint of New Orleans, which closed its doors for good in 1909. But as part of the 100th anniversary of the last Morgan, the program that was launched in 2021, they brought back New Orleans one more time. And the only time. Well, tonight, not only do we have the coin, look at our crazy price. At that price, everybody, the tonight only price, these are not going to last long. I only have a limited number of them available. And when they sell out, we're going to be rolling on to the next product. But whenever we find a crazy deal in the marketplace or are presented with a deal, we're going to take it. And then it just means we can come out here and just make noise. Prior to this price tonight at $149.95, we were the lowest people in the industry at $199. And we sell out all the time. But this deal that was brought forward had about 38 of these, not about, it was exactly 38 of these that were available in part of this grouping. And when they broke them out, cost averaged everything out, it enabled us to come out tonight with a crazy price. And at $149.95, it is the lowest I've ever seen this coin at. You might remember on May 24th, 2021, the first launch of the U.S. Mint's modern Morgan Dollar program. They brought out the two branch mints that are no longer with us, Carson City and New Orleans. They made 175,000 of these beautiful coins, and they sold out in 3 minutes. So if you logged in at 12:05, you lost. Now, we all know that they didn't deliver these until late October, early November. So people were selling their reservations with their order numbers for $200, $300 a coin at that time in history. It is an outright special and crazy scenario. But tonight, as a tonight-only special, which we do every hour within our 5-hour shows, here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have some stuff that just shakes the tree a little bit. Everybody wins. And that's always the best thing. So let's talk about New Orleans if we can. So the Morgan Dollar, the vintage Morgan Dollar, was introduced after the finding of silver in Virginia City, Nevada. The Comstock Lode, the largest silver find ever in our U.S. as a government's history. Enabled us to have enough silver to where we can actually make Spanish and English coins, no longer legal tender in this country. Big deal. And we can now have enough silver to make a big silver dollar again, the largest silver coin ever put into circulation. That's it, the Morgan Dollar. However, in 1878, when they launched this program, this new silver dollar, New Orleans Mint was closed. You might remember a decade or so earlier, we had the Civil War. And during the Civil War, the U.S. Mint closed the New Orleans Mint. And it was never reopened. But with the westward expansion we were seeing, Philadelphia and San Francisco could not keep up with the demand, and the people were all in the middle of the country. Landing in New Orleans and going up the Mississippi, getting on their covered wagons, cutting across Texas, going north. Everybody was expanding. So New Orleans had to be brought back. They did that in 1879. It was known as the hand-me-down mint. All the extra equipment from Philadelphia and San Francisco were sent there to help with the process. Well, that lasted for about 26 years. And when they opened the Denver Mint in 1906, it kind of put the writing on the wall that at some point New Orleans would be closed forever. Because Denver is a brand new mint, all new equipment, and they both are right in the middle of the country. Their intent is to keep the middle flow. So Denver opens in 1906, which means the last coins ever made in New Orleans were 1909. So in 2021, when we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the last Morgan, the 1921 Morgans, the P's, the D's, and the S's, they agreed to make the O and the CC because it was part of the Morgan Dollar's history. So that means this is the first O mint on a U.S. coin in over 100 years. Because again, the last coins were the silver barbers of 1909. Now, they've made 175,000 Carson Cities, New Orleans, Denver, San Francisco's, and Philadelphia's. We love our Carson Cities. They're $300-400 a coin. We love the fabled story of the mint. But the other story is New Orleans. And how interesting is it that the New Orleans story and now tonight's price on the New Orleans coins are lower than the P's, the D's, and the S's? I mean, we're at $199.95 on those coins, and we can't keep them in stock. Tonight, the O Mint from, again, the first launch, May 24th, 2021, the 3-minute sellout at 175,000 coins strong. And we're at $149.95 tonight. I mean, our competition still is at $249 to $299. Guys, give me a 1-minute clock. If you're visiting via the web, push your order through the shopping cart. We are backed up on the phones about 30 seconds right now. Thank you all for your patience and for calling in and wanting to order. We appreciate the business. But if you're on the web and you're parking it into the shopping cart and you're going to hang around for a while, which we appreciate big time, we can't see it. And a lot of the time what happens is you'll go to checkout later this evening and it's not going to work. And the reason why is usually something in your shopping cart sold out. I know this one at this price is going to sell out. You can't beat the story. You can't beat the low mintage. And tonight you can't even come close to the craziness of price here at America's Value Channel. $149.95. The fabled, the last, the only O Mint struck in the last 100 years as part of the 100th anniversary program in 2021. And tonight we have it in the original government packaging, the OGP. Not at $199, which is a crazy price, a great price. Tonight we're at $149.95. Don't miss it.